know what I'm referring to. Oh, it's live now. It's live now on the internet. For those who don't know, I will start off with a small anecdote, just 1 second. There's a great YouTube, he's just a music interviewer called Nardwar. And he always ends his interviews with this really awkward pose. So that was a in joke. So if you don't know about Nardwar, check him out after. But this isn't about Nardwar. This is about support metrics. We're going to jump in. Somebody's super unmuted. So you could mute. Yep, muted. Great. This is Lee Matos here, and I have my co-host on the West Coast.
Hello, Kozlov. How you all doing?
And we're going to dive into the doc. So please put in your questions. We'll ask you to vocalize. Man, this one's crazy today. We got people coming in with the mics open. Oh, what a Thursday. Anyway, hi all. I have the first thing on the doc. So I wanted to draw your attention to slide 15. Slide 15 in the slide deck. So you should open that. You should look at it. And this is about our SAT, our customer SAT, and where they give us feedback. And you'll notice that we get feedback for about 20% of our tickets. And that's pretty high, but we want that higher. So if you interact with customers, tell them to fill out the surveys. That helps us. And I want to be super clear. The more surveys they fill out, we might get worse feedback, but that's valuable. And we want that feedback so that we can improve. So I just want to highlight that on slide 15. So keep that in mind. And then I also wanted to draw your attention to slide 17. There's an initiative in AMER right now where we're trying to increase our FRT, first response time, SLA performance. And we understand that that may have an impact because we're reprioritizing on our NRT, next reply time, SLA. If you look on slide 17, you'll see they're pretty close. And we're trying to shift that so that FRT is a little bit better and NRT, we have some room to spare. So keep an eye out for that. And you can see more specifically on slide 22 and 25, the depths of that detail. That's enough for me. I want to go over. If anybody else has any questions, things in the doc, things you want to know about, happy to answer them. And we have a bunch of the support team here as well who would be more than happy to help. And you can vocalize and type later if you want. And you all don't fit on my screen at the same time, so feel free to speak up because I can't call on you. And if not, we'll talk about Nardwar, the human serviette.
Yeah, nobody else has one. I'll
yeah, come on in. VP of UX in the house. Let's talk about it.
And of course, I'm going to ask something that's kind of UX related.
Okay.
Can't help myself. So as I'm looking through the slides, I'm noticing some big differences in satisfaction based on tier, based on deployment methods, so self-managed versus GitLab.com. So metrics are always cool in that they tell us what is happening, but they don't tell us why it's happening. So that is my question for y'all is how are y'all getting at the why?
It's a great one. Lyle, you feel like being put on the spot? Popcorn, it's Lyle.
One of the other interesting things about data is that we get inconsistent data. So we don't get equal number of surveys between the different tiers. And so that's the first thing that I would say is breaking it out doesn't necessarily give a clear picture of what's happening at every level. But the other thing that we'd be thinking about in figuring out sort of the why is on our .com platform, we have a different set of issues and a different set of customers. Some of them may be somewhat less technical. That's definitely not uniformly true. If anybody's watching this on YouTube, we have some very, very, very advanced .com customers. But we also have things like 2FA, we have account issues. Some of those things we intentionally exclude from surveys because they're coming from what we're interested in is what our paying customers think. And so some of those are free issues, and so we wouldn't get those. But I would say those problem types are what we're interested in. So what we do to analyze is every week we have a manager go through all of the surveys Each of those, all of the positive ones, what we do is we take those into it and put them in our support we can review and actually read them out. Super encouraging, one of the best parts of my week. It's really fun to see what customers say in the positive. And then for all the negative ones, we take a look at the reasons behind it, take a look at the actual ticket interactions, and then try and determine if there's any themes that are kind of bubbling up. And if there are, then that's when we take the issues. And if there's specific things that need to be addressed, then managers will actually get on a call with the customers who submitted the negative feedback.
I'll add to that. Go ahead, Christy, go ahead.
Oh, so that's wonderful. That's great.
I would add to that, we'll attempt to get on the call with customers. Sometimes they don't respond. And also the one thing that we're really, that I hold near and dear is that we try to use GitLab for this cycle. And the main reason for that is we get our customer feedback and we do that review in a GitLab issue, and it's available to any GitLab employee, and we can cross-link that. So sometimes when we have incidents or outages or things that generate feedback, we can directly link that to where engineers or product managers are working, and you could just click through and see what we did and get a link to the customer's feedback and know who the customer is. And that's something I'm really proud of. I think is a huge win. It makes our process a little bit clunkier, but that win of being able to give that to the other teams immediately and easily, I think is huge. And so I'm very, I want to highlight that as well. So you might see some issues linked, and if you hover over it, it might say customer satisfaction or support feedback project. If you click on that, you should be able to see through there. So managers will be cross-pollinating as well.
Thank you both for a great answer.
You're very welcome. Lau, do you see anything else in the doc? I tabbed away. I'm getting web page slowed down. Firefox is like, I can't even open it.
Nothing so far.
And in the doc, I'll link to the feedback tracker. So if you want to go check out the feedback, you can sort by positive, by negative, you can see. We're really proud of that as well. That adds a layer of visibility and transparency, as well as accountability. So you can see how we're responding. Other questions? It's funny because I always wind up in my childhood bedroom when we're doing these. I don't live here. I just happen to be. It's some cadence that I'm on, some universal constant. Lyle, you think it's pretty chill? I think it's pretty chill. The people are satiated. They are just in awe and just flabbergasted at the idea that our data just wowed them. If you have more questions, you could find us in SPT managers or support team chat or in your friendly local questions channel. Feel free, you'll find us hanging out there. Otherwise, I think we end this thing. People, it's your time.